And it's time for another Familiar Faces. Let's take a look at what we got this week. That's right, it's Milton the Monster. If you knew who this guy was, then you deserve a ribbon and cash prize, because I just found this show on YouTube about a month ago, and I'm mesmerized by the malaise of this series. But first, let me take you back. In the 1960s, you had two places to find your cartoons. You could go to the movies and see a fully animated short produced by a studio like Warner Brothers, Disney, or even MGM. Then you had your Saturday morning cartoons, which were of lower quality but were showed more frequently. Chuck Jones, animation great responsible for bringing us the incarnation of Looney Tunes which stands today, labeled these cartoons as illustrated radio, basically because they emphasized dialogue and sound effects over the visual and preferred the full motion of theatrical releases. On the other hand, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, partners and animation giants for MGM, thought that television animation would be a good venture. Ironically, while Hanna-Barbera were busy finding a studio that would independently entertain the world for over 40 years, and create the techniques that would become the basis for all television animation to come, Chuck Jones and his team left Warner Brothers and took over Tom and Jerry, the comedy duo originally created by Hanna-Barbera. Jones would keep working for MGM until the slow disappearance of the theatrical short around 1969. Anyway, the point was that many people had their doubts about animation for television. In fact, most of the top studios like Warner Brothers and Disney didn't even bother with it until the mid-80s, but that's just as well. With the success of Hanna-Barbera shows like The Flintstones, Huckleberry Hound, and Yogi Bear, smaller studios threw their hats in the ring. The cartoon rush had begun with shows like Rocky and Bullwinkle, Alvin and the Chipmunks, and even Marvel released a show called The Marvel Superheroes, a show that makes those YouTube videos with action figures look like fully rendered computer animation.
If this is some sort of trick, mister, you'll regret it.
And out of all this came a show so disturbing, so blood-curdling, so grotesque in its crappiness that it should have been lost to the recesses of time. Damn you, retro junk! Some things are best left forgotten! As for how this abomination came to be, I think the opening explains it best.
On top of Old Horror Hill, in a secret laboratory, Professor Weirdo and Count Kook were in their monstrous glory. 6 drops of the essence of terror, 5 drops of sinister sauce. When the stirring's done, may I lick the spoon? Of course, of course. Now for the tincture of tenderness, but I must use only a touch. For without a touch of tenderness, it might destroy me. Oops, too much. Better hold your breath, it's starting to tick. Better hold my hand, I'm feeling sick. Hello, Daddy. What have I done? I'm Milton, your brand new son.
So it seemed that Professor Weirdo was the pioneer of the creepy crawler methodology of monster making. Freshly deceased bodies, an alien life form, a massive surge of electricity, powerful mutation agents. Nope, it's just brownie batter and stem cells. So now you've met Milton the Monster, an over-friendly but simple Frankenstein-esque creature. And yes, I know Frankenstein was the name of the doctor, not the monster. Don't get your Mary Shelley panties in a twist. But rather than being associated with electricity, Milton runs off a fire somewhere deep in his body that periodically lets smoke out of his head. At any point, Milton is a very flat character. All he does is eat, be nice, and make mistakes. All things which constantly vex his creator, Professor Weirdo.
When I created that monster, I created a monster. I told him to wrap up my new mummy. Look! Gift wrapped?
So it's kind of like Gomer Pyle, only with monsters. In fact, that's exactly who Milton sounds like.
What? May I take her, Hyatt? I didn't do anything bad, Professor Weirdo. Oh, we'd better not. Why not? We'll be late for Dan.
Professor Weirdo is another vague character. Apparently he's a millionaire who's evil. And that's it. He does want to get Milton out of the house, but because he thinks of Milton as some kind of son, he just can't bring himself to kick his ass to the curb. Apparently he's also obsessed with collecting monster recipes.
She's a lovely girl. What's your formula? When she sees him, she'll never give me her secret recipe for making monsters.
I came to sell you my monster secrets. They are buried in my grave.
Montgomery, you have dead yourself. Then you'll give me one of your fabulous secrets?
Just put the CD in the PlayStation. It's that simple. And if I could make monsters, I would make more than just 3. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Hebe and Jeeby, Milton's brothers. Hebe is a skull-faced monster who dresses like, depending on the animator, an undertaker, a businessman, or the Phantom of the Opera.
for I compose the music of the night.
He's got a snide voice and is probably the meanest of the characters.
What do you want?
Can I please join your club?
This is a secret society.
But I'm your brother.
That's our secret.
Then there's GB, who actually has the most original design of the show. He's a short, fuzzy green creature, has one eye and one oversized fang, which could explain why he sounds like he has an entire jar of peanut butter in his maw.
Professor Weirdo? We will, but what about Milton?
Count Kook, we finally see eye to eyes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why do people always use that voice to imitate others? No one sounds like that.
You're all monsters.
He's also entirely naked save for a pair of big black boots. The two apparently live up to Professor Weirdo's expectation of monsterhood, although we never see them doing anything really evil or rotten. They just hang around the house like Milton. So it's like My Three Sons, only with monsters. One time they did actually mutiny against the professor for almost no reason.
That's what you get for taking away the Xbox.
So what happened to their touch and tenderness? There seems to be a real hormonal imbalance problem in this family. I wonder if they have anything for that. Are you too evil, or not evil enough? Is it affecting the quality of your life and the lives of those around you? Well, there's good news. There's new Equipex. Equipex controls both sinister and tenderness, allowing you to live your life to the fullest, just as your godless creator intended. Equipex may not be right for everyone. Side effects may include instant death, slow painful death, nocturnal death, and runny nose. You should not take or handle Equipex if you are pregnant or nursing. Have you ever seen It's Alive? Ask your mad scientist about Equipex.